Morning, everybody. Pastor Todd here, coming to you from the shores of Pinewood Lake. You may remember this from a previous video in which I ran into the ice cold water, making money for my friend Abby for suicide prevention and mental health awareness for teens. Today I'm just gonna stand by the lake, no running into it, to give you our daily reflection. This is the 22nd day of March, which means it's the 21st day of Lent. We're over the hump, going into Holy Week, but we've got to keep on walking along this journey with Jesus into the heart of our own sinful nature and temptation. So, this is Richard Rohr's book, Wondrous Encounters. I'm going to give you two quick readings before we start the reflection. The first one is from Daniel 3:42 and 43. Do not let us be put to shame, but deal with us in your kindness and your great mercy. Deliver us by your wonders, and thus bring glory to your own name. This is Matthew 18:33. Should you not have dealt mercifully with your fellow servant just as I dealt with you? This is the word of the Lord. Thanks be to God. And here is the reflection. It's entitled, Who is in the fiery furnace and who is not? Our first reading today comes from the book of Daniel. It's from the prayer of one of the three young men in the fiery furnace. He is named Azariah, which means God helps, and surely represents the desperate but fervent praying that would characterize anyone walking around in the flames of a fiery furnace. He appeals to God to keep his part of the covenant relationship with all of the proper humility, confession of sin, and pleading for mercy that might be expected. He asks Yahweh to operate from God's better, even best instincts, and assures Yahweh that they will do the same and follow you with our whole heart from now on. A good prayer that tells us about what we can expect from this God of Israel. They are in the furnace, but the fire did not touch them or cause them any pain. That's from Daniel 3:50. The theme develops further in this allegorical gospel story that is found only in Matthew. It is often called the parable of the unforgiving debtor, which describes it rather well. As with so many parables, the opening question and the closing one-liner reveal the major point. It begins with Peter asking, how many times must I forgive my brother or sister? And Jesus answers that you must forgive them 70 times 7. In the in-between story, the master is moved with pity and has canceled the entire debt of a servant, which would amount to $9 million. The parable ends with the invitational one-liner. Each of you must forgive your brother or sister from the heart. This is what the master, or God, has just done. The greedy and selfish debtor, who is owed a mere $15, throttles his fellow servant, ignores his attempts and promises, and throws him into prison, as if that is going to help anything. And in his attempt to prison the other, he ends up being tortured and imprisoned himself. This is a classic Middle Eastern wisdom story. It is both a gracious statement about what we can always expect from God, and an honest warning about how any refusal to forgive actually destroys and imprisons the very one who refuses. Now I think that's the payoff pitch here. It is both a gracious statement about what we can always expect from God and an honest warning about how any refusal to forgive actually destroys and imprisons the one who refuses. Jesus invites all of us in this rather easy to understand story into God's nonsensical loving from the heart, which is the final staccato phrase. The connection I make between the two readings is that praying to forgive serious injuries is like praying while burning in a fiery furnace. And if you do not pray to be released from your unforgiving heart, you will indeed keep burning. Sometimes only God can release you from such a furnace. And here is our prayer. God of compassion, Mother and Father of all mercies, do not let us shame ourselves or the wonder of your name by living outside of the wondrous loop of your forgiveness and mercy. Amen. Keep praying for someone that they have a meaningful Lent, and I'll see you